So, we're about to finish our Dungeons and Dragons campaign of the world's largest dungeon, and you're level 20, level 21, something like that. We're going through the halls of ice and stone. The furthest reaches of the complex were never intended to be parts of the Celestial's dungeon. Beneath the rocky foothills at the base of a mighty peak, a system of naturally occurring caves cuts their way through both ice and earth. Over the years, these caverns served as homes for many and varied creatures, from packs of loathsome winter wolves to enormous frostworms. For a time, the caves were even occupied by a fringe cult of humans and humanoids who worshipped the now-forgotten god of elemental ice. Whether the Celestials knew of this place when they built their dungeon in such proximity is unclear. Surely, even if they did, it was of no concern to them. The complexes were separated by thick walls of stone and magical wards. Until, that is, the first of the quakes hit. Tremors shook the earth, tore the roots from the mountain, and the barriers between the dungeon and caverns crumbled like bread crust. Slowly at first, but in ever-increasing numbers, the prisoners and inhabitants of the dungeon awoke to the truth that a new flaw had been introduced into the Celestial's grand design. If they could make their way there, they might be able to grasp their freedom at last. Fortunately for the outside world, something else got there first. Two good-aligned titans, brothers named Barcellus and Brasus, began receiving dreams and even waking visions of the Celestial's dungeon and of the new threat imposed to the surrounding area. Once these portents and warnings came, the brothers never knew. Perhaps they were sensed by some higher power who had not forgotten the dungeon as the rest of the world had, or even by some of the Celestial's guards who remained within. Ultimately, it's no matter. The Titans knew that someone had to stand guard over the dungeon, lest the vile inhabitants escape. They uproot themselves, bidding farewell to the lives they had known, and made their homes here. Barcellus made himself comfortable in the caves of ice, keeping constant watch on the new exit. Brasus chose to guard the main entrance of the dungeon in case the quakes had weakened it as well. It was his long and dead body that you had may have run across so long ago, if you even remember that part. I remember. For centuries more, the Titans stood their post, ensuring that no one escaped. Few creatures made it as far as the exit from the caverns, and Barcellus ensured that no one survived to take advantage of it. It was a hard, lonely existence, but a necessary one. Some decades ago, it all changed. In the mountains near the complex dwelt the Red Ice Tribe, a powerful clan of frost giants, led by Jardarir, chieftain and high priest of the aspect of winter. The elemental power of ice and war, who may even be the same power worshipped long ago in these self-same caverns. The Red Ice conquered many of the surrounding lands. Eventually, through powerful divinations and investigation of local legends, Jardarir learned of the Celestial's dungeon and of the Titan guarding it, and Jardarir devised a plan. The giantess cleric realized that, mighty as he was, he would be more powerful still with a wealth of magical riches and an army of the vilest creatures under his command. If he could wrest control of the exit from the Titan, he could bargain with potential escapees, trading them their freedom for any wealth they might have acquired from others in the dungeon, and for vows of fealty and service to his clan. Barcellus was a mighty foe, but between the Red Ice's overwhelming numbers and the mighty magics and Jardarir's command, even he was overcome. The frost-giant chieftain did not slay the Titan for fear that the Guardian's death might be sensed by other celestial or outer planar beings. Instead, of the power of a miracle, he imprisoned the Titan deep in a block of ice where he remains, physically trapped and mystically helpless. The Red Ice tribe took over the catacombs, and Jardarir took on the name of Barcellus, allowing others to believe the Titans still stood watch. Unfortunately for Jardarir, his plan was not worked particularly well. Few inhabitants of the dungeon have managed to reach the complex of ice, and most of those that were unwilling to bargain had to be destroyed. The Red Ice has gained a few magic items added to their hoard of spells. Still, Jardarir is not about to give up. Even one powerful ally gained from his efforts would make them worthwhile, and anyway, the Red Ice have settled nicely into their new home. Of course, the tribe does not control the entirety of the complex. Wild monsters, escaped slaves, and even a hideous fiend from deep in the dungeon have their own layers, areas the Red Ice giants have not yet managed to acquire. It is through the chaotic and violent region that you must pass if you would regain your freedom. Your final challenge is upon you, and only if you're the bravest and most skilled do you even have a slim hope of passing it. So now everything's about to be ramped up. Apparently there were two Titans at the beginning that you saw the dead body of one, and I guess a ice giant is pretending to be that dead Titan. That never works out well. Pretending to be someone you're not. Taking on the name of someone who killed him. It's not good. So you're moving through an open cavern. Streaks of filthy ice run down the walls of this wild cavern. Frost-covered dirt crunches underfoot, sending minuscule particles up into the air. The earth here has clearly been disturbed. Quite recently, and by either great many creatures or few very large ones, sounds echo strangely, growing louder towards the cavern's narrower side. The chamber appears to be empty of living beings, though it is difficult to see to the far side or into the various nooks and crannies. Symbols and carvings. Though they are difficult to see in ambient light, numerous symbols have been carved into the wall of this nick in the cavern. In fact, it appears as though the marks have been altered numerous times. Sharp turn. The holes turn to the left where it swiftly comes to an end. The passage continues forward as well, but narrows dramatically as it does so to a width of more than 5 feet. Guard post. As you proceed down the hall from the intersection of a tornado, loud blast perhaps from a trumpet echoes from the passages ahead of you. Even as the reverberations fade, you hear footsteps. Though difficult to tell with all the echoes, they sound as though they are moving in a direction away from you. The hallway widens here, allowing access to a small chamber to the south and a large cavern ahead of you. You hear bustling sounds up ahead. In the chamber to your left, staring at you with wide eyes, is a shaggy creature clad in armor and furs. Even as you spot it, it releases a loud blast of sound from a primitive horn it holds to its lips. It's hostile, he slays for XP. Communal chamber. This enormous cavern, vaguely mushroom shaped, clearly seconds of the communal camp and sleeping area. Prints of pallets and fur pelts lay strewn about the rim. They may reach the walls. It is difficult to see with the available lighting or into the various nooks. The spell is almost enough to make your eyes water. Clearly, not all hides have been tanned or cured, and even the extreme cold decay has set in on more than a few of them. The sleeping pallets are all empty, but the chamber is not. Large humanoid creatures so shaggy that you cannot tell where their own fur leaves off, and the furs that they are wearing begin. Advance on you from various points around the room. They hold weapons in hand, and their faces are twisted in snarls of rage. You slay all these hostile creatures. They were bugbears. About 12 of them. You slay all of them. There's a portcullis. A primitive effective portcullis blocks further passage down this corridor. The crossbars are on the gate are formed from the bones of some creature far larger than a human, who appear to be held together with